Tackle Smart is a coaching service to help football players learn specific tackling techniques that will not only keep them safer on the field, but also ultimately improve both their individual and team's defensive performance.
My name is Roger Wilson and I'm the founder of Tackle Smart. I grew up in Belfast, Northern Ireland. I was a professional rugby player for 15 years in Europe, retiring in 2017. I played over 350 pro games all around the world during that time, including for my country, Ireland, clocking up over 3,000 tackles along the way. After retiring from professional sport, I completed my Masters in Sports Performance Science before moving to Texas in 2018 with my young family, where I founded Tackle Smart Sports.
The original type of tackle comes from rugby. From the age of 5, the first thing you are taught as a kid playing rugby is how to tackle. You don't have the luxury of these hard helmets there as a safety net, so the techniques teach you to be incredibly accurate in removing your head from the contact and instead taking the impact with your shoulder. When practiced time and time again, this creates muscle memory patterns that instinctively protect your head during a collision and become second nature on the field. We also cater for other contact sports in our program to ensure athletes are prepared as well as possible for all collision situations. The beauty about tackle training and collision preparation is that it can be practiced technically 365 days a year within a controlled environment.
I've always been a big fan of contact sports, specifically the benefits that physical team sports have on helping you build character. With more and more media attention being given on the risk of injury, and in particular concussions, I wanted to use my own experience from rugby to help future generations have the tools to enjoy a successful and healthy time playing the sport that they love. For me, the benefits of sports participation will always outweigh any risk.
Research has shown that the tackler receives the overwhelming majority of concussions in football. And partly due to this, we are seeing a steady decline in the number of youth participants in the sport. But there is an answer to this, and that is where rugby tackling comes in. We are currently seeing a slowing, shifting trend away from the old school get your head in front of the body type of tackling towards shoulder tackling. Rule changes to improve safety will all lend itself towards shoulder tackling as governing bodies attempt to combat the concussion issue over time. We still see far too much helmet-to-helmet contact in football as players lead with their heads, both with and without the ball. Shoulder tackling has been proven successful at the very top if consistently practiced as part of a program. The Seattle Seahawks and various D1 college teams have incorporated these methods into their training programs for a number of years now, seeing huge benefits not only from a reduction in the number of concussions, but also significant improvements in the team's defensive performance in terms of fewer missed tackles. The fundamental principle of this tackle technique is to initiate contact with your shoulder whilst keeping your head to the side or in behind the ball carrier, depending on what angle you approach from. What is inside your skull is a lot more worth protecting than your shoulder is. We see so many missed tackles in football due to poor technique. Players not controlling their foot movement as they approach a tackle. Players tackling too upright and getting bumped or stiff-armed. Players not getting their feet close enough to the ball carrier to generate sufficient force into the collision. Players putting their heads across the body with incorrect foot placement, resulting in a very ineffective and weak tackling position. And players not finishing off the tackle by wrapping their arms and driving their feet after the initial contact is made. It's a technique which still encourages dominant tackles, but which is also perfect for the small guys to bring the big guys down. If you can master even half of these techniques, you'll see significantly more tackle completions. Now, what defensive coordinator could argue with that?